How would you feel about a ban of "How are you today" questions on the sub? If we banned all the stupid reposts, there'd be nothing left. Edit: this unhelpful shitpost is now one of my top 10 Reddit comments. I'd prefer a ban of "How would you feel about" questions which are thinly veiled leading questions. Sure, but let's also ban the "How would you feel about" insert something most people agree with questions, such as yours. How about a ban on the 5 most asked questions on Reddit? Or a ban on "How would you feel" questions? Duck it, let's just ban AskReddit. How would you feel about a ban of "How would you feel" questions on this sub? I would feel very fucking good about that. There is a glut of such inane questions on this sub, and any sort of curb on such pointless questions would be a good thing in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. From the sub's sidebar, AskReddit is the place to ask and answer thought-provoking questions. I don't think "How are you today" classifies as a thought-provoking question. The only thought that it provokes is of me wanting to bash my head on my keyboard repeatedly. Lol. Is this a trick question, asking us how we feel about eliminating a question that is essentially "How do you feel?" Somebody is about to get the joke about "How do you feel" posts. In case nobody else mentions it, this sub banned "How do you feel" posts. It's very ironic that this question uses a banned form and is asking about banning a type of question. If you're encountering a weird downvote pattern to replies, this is why. But to answer your question, the sub's purpose is to ask thought-provoking questions. I rarely see those here anyway, but it's nice when they do. I'm not sure banning the inane is the way to go. The problem is people upvoting the drivel all the time, and there's probably just no practical solution to that. I'd like it. Emo people ask it because they're hoping it gets karma. I would be against a ban, because Reddit should be self-regulating. If it's not interesting enough, people shouldn't, comment or upvote. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Either way, if I see a bad post, I usually just scroll on by. I broke my own rule for this post, and lots of others probably do the same, so disregard this comment. Or don't. I'd rather ban the "What's your favorite video game" but phrased in a different way. I'd prefer a ban on "Your username is" questions. There's a subreddit that exists for that kind of thing now, Raways Today. Actually pretty chill place, you just make a write-up about your day, and people can comment on it. Good bit of positivity floating around there these days, what with the pandemic and all. What I want to ban is questions that are targeted at a very narrow group of people, like lawyers or doctors or people who married Karens. All the comments are just like "I'm not an ex, but I once heard a story." Every time I scroll my feed, I see at least 1 to 2 threads about "Explain your username" or "If your username was this or that, what would happen, what would you do?" Every single time. I'll give the answer I'll always give to these posts. I'd rather have a ban on "How would you feel about banning X questions." It's just karma farming. They don't actually care. No different because nobody cares, obviously. I don't know. On another note, how are you today? I don't see a need to ban these. I mean, who else am I going to anonymously spill all of my anxiety and life failings to? My parents? Duck that. I mean, I see nothing wrong with checking in on your fellow Redditor, at least someone cares enough to ask. Need it. I've never seen one. I think people who feel lonely or sad could sort of feel cared for by a stranger asking them how they feel, and they can vent if they have something on their mind, could help them. How about, "How do you feel yesterday?" Don't. People enjoy that, and it's harmless. Some people don't have any other way of connecting to others than to ask banal and redundant questions. This should be a place for them, too. Come on, Reddit. And why should they be banned? All I see is questions that are genuinely checking in on people, possibly helping them in some way. It's a small thing, but it can really lift a person's spirit. This seems like a cry for attention. Are you feeling okay? I just don't read them, but I appreciate them because they let some people vent and get support from others that they may not be getting otherwise. Some of us don't have anyone in real life to ask us this. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to answer it. How about also banning if someone offered you amount of money but you had to do thing, would you do it? I think it's a problem that will largely solve itself after the pandemic is over, though to prevent a flood of 10 or 20 or 50 people trying it in the same day, maybe it should be a weekly, or every couple day, mega thread instead. Given current global conditions, it's a heartwarming show of support for one another. Please. Dumb karma farming. And every time it is asked it gets awards from idiots. What would you do if there were no rhetorical questions? I like that idea, cause that's literally what casual conversation is for. I disagree with a ban on this question. However, I'm only talking about this question specifically. Not all the other questions people are mentioning. I'd why people are mentioning all these other questions when Op clearly stated how are you today. My reasoning for this is because sometimes people just need someone to vent to, or to share something exciting with, or something like that. A lot of people don't have anyone to share these things with, and Reddit is their person. I know that's the case for me, and I know I'm not the only one. This subreddit already has so many strict rules, why add another? On one hand I appreciate being asked that, but on the other hand let's face it, all our answers will be I feel like shit, how about you? This is like the 50th time this has been asked. I like them. I've seen people get some really heavy stuff off their chest. If it's helping people, why not leave it the way it is? If you don't like it, or don't need such a post on a certain day, skip over it. Without a how are you today I can't make sure others are okay, or comfort them. I'm fine, thanks for asking. I once said how was your day? Got down votes. Saw someone else post the exact same question a few hours later. That dude got tons of upvotes, and a shit ton of rewards. My point isn't to be greedy, it is just that how are you today? Questions are sort of hit or miss. Honestly, Terry's been a day or two those questions have made my entire night. I'll be honest, despite being excessive and annoying at times. I think we should keep them. Because if it's one of those days for a few people, and it cheers them up well, it's worth seeing it pop up on my feed. How are you today? Negative. Sometimes I just want to feel that someone cares if my day was good. Why not just make Row Warrior today? Hey all, just wanted to say I'm not a promoter of the following subreddit, I just subscribed to it when it started. That said, it sounds like the subreddit Row Wasted A fills the need for those that want to answer this question without using AskReddit. I don't want them banned. Because they make me feel like people care about my day. Why, how do you feel today? How would you feel if we ban the how would you feel if questions? I'm okay with the question. I'm okay with it. But why do you feel this way? How are you feeling? I personally like the how are you today questions. They're pretty innocent and it gives a lot of people the chance to get things off their chest. Given the events we're all experiencing right now, I think those simple questions are kinda needed just to give a feeling of communication in a worldwide semi-quarantine, more or less. I really don't care.